And right now, California lawmakers and Caltrans are considering a recent replacement to the state's current gas tax system as fewer people head to the pump. News Watch 12's Brett Taylor spoke with Caltrans officials to find out more about this proposed change. Brett, what did you find out, and how are some locals in the state reacting to this potential change?
Well, Haley, the proposed change would look a lot like this. Instead of Californians paying their taxes at the pump, instead, they'd be paying those taxes based on the number of miles that they drive, which all sounds like it could be a great idea for some, but for others like Abby Yeager, who lives in a more rural community, she told me they have some major concerns about this potential change and what it could mean for them if passed by the state.
We look to the future as we shift away towards more fuel efficient and alternative fuel vehicles altogether. That is not really going to be a system we can rely on.
As more and more people switch to electric or even hybrid vehicles,
we need to look to the future and plan ahead and explore some alternatives.
Fewer and fewer people are heading to the gas pump, leaving California with the dilemma of how to repair its roads. Currently in the state, roughly 80% of highway and road repairs are funded by the state's gas tax. But with less revenue coming in, less money can be used to repair its many roads. Because of this, lawmakers along with Caltrans are looking into alternative methods, including a new mile-based tax system.
The state's looking at this as, again, a revenue mechanism replacement. It's not necessarily looking to be a new tax. It's supposed to be a replacement to the gas tax.
The proposed system would instead tax Californian drivers based on the number of miles they drive, either by month or by year, and could potentially close a really significant gap within the state.
One of the great things about this potential idea is that right now, under the gas tax, we're seeing a lot of growing imbalance in what people are paying to use the road.
Where those driving in electric or hybrid vehicles are actually right now paying far less in taxes compared to those who use gas, especially in rural areas.
Those who are tending to pay more tend to be in rural areas. So we're seeing this growing imbalance across our state about who is contributing what to the transportation system. And so one of the great potentials about road charges is to kind of bring that more into balance so everyone's paying the same to use the road.
But those who live in rural communities are less optimistic about the idea.
I think that it's definitely going to be a challenge to implement.
And have several major concerns.
I think there's going to be some huge issues with privacy, equity,
including if the proposed mile-based system will even help them out. So to find out if that might be the case, we used Caltrans' road charge calculator to try and find the answer. And from what we found, the mile-based tax system could actually help those driving in rural areas by having them pay less in taxes compared to the state's current gas tax. However, as the mile-based tax increases, even by a cent or two, those gains sharply decrease and could even potentially lead to even higher costs.
People are going to argue, right? They're going to say, well, you're going to charge me 2 cents a mile this year, but next year you're going to charge me 5 cents a mile. You're going to keep going up, and then it's going to quickly not match up to the tax that we've been paying with this gas, rate. And people are just, it's going to have real big issues.
Despite a lack of optimism for the proposed change, people like Yeager say that they get that a change is necessary to make sure that the state's roads can remain safe to drive on.
I understand the state's problem. We as Californians, as a group, we drive more than any other state per year. And those vehicles on the road, whether they are, EV or, gas powered hybrids too, they're contributing to the deterioration of our road miles.
Now, this proposed change is by no means close to coming to fruition just yet, as there are still a lot of questions and issues that Caltrans says needs to be addressed before a full proposal can be presented to the California legislation for a vote, and that could still be several years away from even happening.